All right, Shalom. Before I get started with this lesson, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. And double salutations to all you Akim out there laboring in the house of David, the elect, that's pushing this word with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom to you, brothers, and shalom to the elect. I'm back at you with another live lesson through the Holy Spirit. The Rakakwadash, I pray that this lesson is fine. All right, I wanted to touch on concerning the prophecies of Ezekiel chapter 38. Those times are right now. All right, and we're going to get into that. Okay, so let's go ahead and share the screen here. Those times are now. Let's get into it. And Lord's will, you're edified, you know.
The Pentagon is deploying 300 more troops to the Mideast as U.S. bases in Iraq and Syria are attacked. Get this, 27 times. And the past 2 weeks, 27 times in 2 weeks. And we know the Iranian proxies, they've told us already. Now let's take a look at where the U.S. troops are roughly stationed as of right now. These are where we are at. These are the attacks that have taken place, the 27 here. These are the contractors, 45,000 are in this region. This is where we are. The naval bases are, these are destroyers, aircraft carriers in the region, ready to attack should other nations get involved in the Israeli war. And let's take a look at where our troops are deployed. A total of 45,000. The ones that concern me most, concern us most, because they're under attack the most, is Syria and Iraq. But keep in mind, too, when these are the areas of major concern. But keep in mind, we got 13,000 in Kuwait. You can hit Kuwait. Bahrain, which is part of the Abraham Accords, you wouldn't think would be attacked, but if you attack American assets, you'd be looking at somebody who is attacking for Hamas. Qatar is a bit dicey. That's where we know that the higher-ups in Hamas actually live a luxurious life, have their limousines and have their Four Seasons. And the UAE, 3,500 troops. We have a lot of assets in this area, a lot of reasons to be concerned, and ultimately, this is the most concern. 27 attacks, we responded once. With me right now is retired Navy SEAL and Recon Marine Corps veteran, Mike Sorelli. He joins us. Mike, how frustrated would you be knowing that you've been under rocket attack for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and you were told, basically, don't do anything. We'll knock them out of the sky. You'll be okay. Meanwhile, we got a couple of dozen that were hit and a contractor that died of a heart attack.
So, Brian, as a ground troop, I can only believe that they are extremely frustrated. I understand that the U.S. is showing restraint in order to prevent this becoming a broader open conflict within the Middle East. But if an American service member is killed or maimed, the U.S. has no other recourse but to retaliate against Iran with extreme prejudice.
So we know our guys are just sitting here. And we know we have a lot of people in this area. In Iraq, we know in Syria, we've got 900 guys just sitting there. We hit a weapons depot. So our guys are just sitting there knowing there's a problem here, there's a problem here, and there's a war raging there. And they know they're under attack. How much missile defense do these bases have?
The bases are probably well armed in defense of any indirect fires coming in. But again, that said, for a ground troop, a young sergeant in the Marine Corps sitting there, it's sort of in antithesis to their existence. And that if somebody throws a punch at you, you retaliate back swiftly and very determinedly.
So, Michael, you're in Israel. All of a sudden, you realize Hezbollah might want to get involved. We see some consistent rocket attacks and some retaliation. We realize Hezbollah assets in Syria, some rocket attacks and retaliation. And then over the last few days, guess who else gets involved? The Houthi rebels. They're declaring war on Israel. How do you game plan this out, knowing different fronts are opening up by the hour?
Well, I think the question everyone's asking, is this the first domino with Yemen declaring war on Israel to an open, broader conflict? Remember, Yemen's been in civil war since 2014 when the Houthis removed President Hadi, who then fled to Saudi Arabia. Mm-hmm. Now, the Houthis are a jihadist organization backed by Iran, and quite frankly, they were on the terror watch list until February of 2021 when the Biden Biden administration removed them. But I think for Saudi Arabia and UAE, who were actively involved in Yemen, basically due to Iranian influence, this doesn't mean state-to-state warfare. They'll most likely do clandestine and indirect operations, as well as economic sanctions to limit Iran's influence or broadening the conflict further.
So Iran did war games a week ago, at which time they're rolling out tanks that we gave them in 1978. They have some weapons, they have some assets, but they're not a sophisticated army. Everybody you mentioned have one thing in common. Iran. How much longer are we going to pretend? It's not Saudi Arabia that's the problem. It's not Oman that's the problem. It is Iran that's the problem. Sooner or later, we're going to have to say it out loud. Final thought, Mike?
I'll tell you this. Iran knows they can't win in an open conflict against the U.S. and Arab states. So they will continue with the indirect and clandestine warfare supporting these jihadist organizations. But Iran has to be dealt with. And quite frankly, we allowed their oil exports to increase from about 5 billion to 40 billion over the last years. Those economic sanctions need to be reimposed and crippling. And diplomacy ultimately by the Gulf states to end their influence.
As much as they were rich and that's a problem, they were in a box. They are not in a box now. Mike, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
All right. Now, before we get into, I was looking at this comment. I thought this was pretty heavy. Let me see. It might be on the other video. Bear with me. Let's see. Yeah, it's in the next video. So anyway, let's get into this thing. So why is there so much, concern on the so-called Middle East? All right. I looked this up on the map. This is what's considered the Middle East, this region here. These nations such as Saudi Arabia, Iran, Iraq, Yemen, United Arab Emirates, Egypt, Turkey, Syria, Israel, Lebanon, Pakistan, Afghanistan. All right. This region here. All right. And this region is the focus, as Elder Apostle Tahar said, all eyes on the Middle East. Okay. Because this region plays a very heavy significance of prophecy. Okay. This is where it's all going to be said and done at. Okay. And I was just looking up some of these maps concerning Ezekiel 38. All right. Gog and Magog. Okay. As you see, the region of Russia, Georgia, Armenia. Okay. Turkey, etc. All right. And I'll pull these back up as we move along, just showing the people, the locations. Okay. Magog, Gog, Russia. Okay. Gomer, Eastern Europe, as you can see. And it's all leading to, the final battle of Armageddon. All right. Which in the Hebrew is Armageddon, which is a gathering of troops. Okay. And this is what's exactly is going on across the world, like right now. Okay. The nations, the militaries of the world, if you will. All right. They're gathering their armies for that great and final battle. Okay. And this is why, as you see, all these arrows point to Israel, this region here. All right. Where it's all going to go down, where all these nations are being gathered to. All right. So this is all biblical prophecy, which cannot be ignored. All right. And I was actually looking at some stuff. All right. You had this Edomite group called Prophecy Watchers. And in actuality, the men of Yahweh Shem Shai are the true prophecy watchers. All right. And we're the ones that are making the vision playing upon tables, pursuing the Habakkuk, the 2nd chapter. All right. We're making it plain. We're making the vision playing upon tables so that he may run that readeth, that could receive of the understanding, the breakdown, the ones that are fortunate enough, that are blessed to see these prophecies come to pass. Now, before we get into all of this, all right, I wanted to play that video there. As you see, as he was going through the video, the highlighting of that same, particular region as we just showed here on the maps. All right, this is where it's all going to go. This is where it's all going to go down. All eyes on the Middle East. Right now, I want to read this article real quick because he had made focus on Iran. So this came out November 8th, 2023. This is from CNBC. It says Russia is turning increasingly hostile toward Israel as it picks sides in the Middle East. You see? And it's already came out that Russia views Israel as the enemy now. Okay. And they're joining forces with Iran, just like it says according to prophecy. All right. And Israel is getting ready to be pretty much wiped out. Okay. So let's read a little bit here. So the title again, Russia is turning increasingly hostile towards Israel as it picks sides in the Middle East. Here's some of the focal points here. It says, when the Israel-Hamas war started a month ago, Russia was conspicuously measured in its immediate response. Russia's sober response was seen to be caused by Kremlin weighing up its competing and conflicting vested interests in the Middle East. Russia has always enjoyed constructive relations with Israel. Russia President Vladimir Putin and Israel's Premier Benjamin Netanyahu have enjoyed a close relationship. Okay, so pretty much, you know, these ties that they had are being broken. All right, as it tells you as well. And let me get that real quick. You know, Isaiah 13, real quick. So this is Isaiah 13 and 17. It says, behold, I will stir up the Medes against them. Who are the Medes? The Russians today, which shall not regard silver, and as for gold, they shall not delight in it. So even though this is concerning, you know, Babylon, but at the same time, you know, Russia is no longer being diplomatic. Okay, there's no peace. There is no, as it was talked about a few months ago, all these different deals that they were trying to create to stop the nuclear arms race. That's not going to happen. There's no peace. There's no security. These nations are amping up their nuclear capability for this World War III. All right. So basically, there's no more talking. All right. Every action that's being made right now is a strategic move. All right. For war. Okay. World War III in general. Okay. That's what's going on right now. So anyway, let's read on. Let's read on. So it says, when the Israel-Hamas war started a month ago, Russia was conspicuously measured in its immediate response to the conflict, issuing cautious statements calling for cool heads and ceasefire. As Israel's assault on Hamas-governed Gaza Strip has intensified, with over 10,000 Palestinians believed to have now died in the heavily bombarded enclave, Russia has increasingly abandoned its more neutral stance and is becoming openly critical and hostile towards Israel. All right. So now you have all these Palestinians being bombed over there. The videos are all over the internet. All right. Hospitals, cities, civilians getting bombed. There was a video of Palestinians getting sniped by snipers, man. All right. One of the brothers shared the video. One of them Palestinians got his leg just blown off. All right. You can see the meat hanging out his leg. There's a lot of crazy shit going on, man. But this thing is, as we're reading, is intensifying. And this is the will of Yahweh Shema Shah, as I've been going into these past lessons for the past few weeks. All right. Yahweh Shema Shah has amplified everything, man. All right. So it's extremely hot out there in the so-called Middle East. It says Russia has increasingly abandoned its more neutral stance and is becoming openly critical and hostile towards Israel. All right. And we know that this is, as the scriptures say, me get it, that the least of the flock shall draw them out. All right. And this is why, as you see, as I'm going to play in a minute, the artillery and the military and the tanks and the ships and the submarines that are being sent over there to Israel in the Middle East right now. Okay, this thing is about to spill over, right? Let me get this real fast. This is Jeremiah. Let me get that in Jeremiah. Bear with me. Matter of fact, we'll start up a little bit here. So this is the book of Jeremiah, chapter 50. And I'll start at 40 here. All right, this is Jeremiah chapter 50, verse 40, and it reads, it says, as Yahweh Shemel Shai overthrew Sodom and Gomorrah and the neighbor cities thereof, saith the Lord, Yahweh Shemel Shai, so shall no man abide there, neither shall any son of man dwell therein, because the prophecy states that Babylon is going to be completely wiped out. All right, there's not going to be any survivors. All right, the Lord is going to turn this place into a complete wasteland. All right, as he did to Sodom and Gomorrah. Okay, remember Jude, I think it's Jude, I want to say like 1 and 5, 1 and 6, somewhere in there, on how Sodom and Gomorrah was an example, all right, on how not to live, suffering vengeance of eternal fire. Okay, verse 41, it says, behold, a people shall come from the north, and a great nation, and many kings shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. This is happening right now. Okay, Russia, coming from the north. All right, a great nation, and many kings shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. Pursuing the let me get that in all right, let me get that in was that Revelation 16? It said many kings shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. All right, this is why all these nations are are war ready. Revelation 16 and Revelation 16 and verse 12, the point. It says, and the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up. And you can look this up now. All right. The river is basically completely damn near dried up. All right. And it was an article that came out, and it showed the symbol of the I believe it was the Omega sign. All right. Because Yahweh Shai said what? That he was the beginning and the ending. All right. So that Omega sign that was showed in the Euphrates, that was a heavy token. That was a heavy sign from Yahweh Shemel Shai that we're at the end. Okay. It says, let's read it again. And the sixth angel poured out his vial upon the great river Euphrates, and the water thereof was dried up, that the way of the kings of the east might be prepared. You see that? So the kings of the east, all right, all of these nations on the continent of Asia, if you will, all right, that eastern realm, so to speak, all right, Russia, China, North Korea, Iran, the kings of the east are being raised up, all right, for this final war. Okay, so let's go back to where we at, Jeremiah 50. Right, so let's read that again, Jeremiah 50 and verse 41 again. It says, behold, a people shall come from the north, a great nation, and many kings shall be raised up from the coast of the earth. They shall hold the bow and the lance. They are cruel and will not show mercy. Their voice shall roar like the sea, and they shall ride upon horses. Everyone put in array like a man to battle against thee, O daughter of Babylon. So all these nations, right, they're coming with their nuclear weaponry to destroy Babylon the Great, which is America, man. Okay, the king of Babylon, verse 43, the king of Babylon have heard the report of them, and his hands wax feeble. Right, because these nations, as we say, these nations, they see blood in the water. All right, they see chinks in the armor, so to speak. All right, they understand that America doesn't have the power that it once had. All right, they can be taken, and his hands waxed feeble. Anguish took hold of him, and pangs as a woman in travail. Verse 44, behold, he should come up like a lion from the swelling of Jordan unto the habitation of the strong. But I will make them suddenly run away from her. And who is a chosen man that I may appoint over her? For who is like me? And who will appoint me? And who will appoint me the time? And who is the shepherd that will stand before me? The point, verse 45. Therefore, hear ye the counsel of the Lord Yahweh Shemel Shai, that he have taken against Babylon, and his purposes that he had proposed against the land of the Chaldeans. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. All right. These Amalekites. Okay. These 48ers, these small hats. All right. They're going to draw Babylon, America into World War III as we see it, as we're seeing it happen strategically right before our eyes, man. Okay. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitation desolate with them, because the Lord is going to smoke Babylon and the land of Israel. All right. Both of those lands are going to be cleansed with fire. It says that the noise of the taking of Babylon, the earth is moved, and the cry is heard among the nations, man, because the whole world is going to hear the report, the fall of Babylon, man. All right. I just want to read this in NLT before we go back to the article. Let's read those last three verses there. Okay. Matter of fact, we'll read 43. We'll read 42. Jeremiah 50:42 NLT. It says, they are armed with bows and spears. They are cruel and show no mercy as they ride forward on horses. They sound like a roaring sea. And those horses today would be the tanks, the ships, the jets, the planes, basically their military arsenal. They sound like a roaring sea. They are coming in battle formation, planning to destroy you, Babylon. You see those ICBM nuclear missiles, right? The king of Babylon has heard reports about the enemy, and he is weak with fright. Pangs of anguish have gripped him like those of a woman in labor. I will come like a lion from the thickets of Jordan, leaping on the sheep in the pasture. I will chase Babylon from its land, and I will appoint the leader of my choice. For who is like me? Who can challenge me? What ruler can oppose my will? Who can resist the will of Yahweh by Hashem Shai, right? Verse 45. All right. It says, hold on one second. Hold on. Hello. All right, Salakia. Had a phone call I had to take. Salakia. So anyway, finishing this out. Jeremiah 50:45, it says, listen to the Lord, Yahweh Shem Shah's plan against Babylon and the land of the Babylonians. Even the little children will be dragged off like sheep, and their homes will be destroyed. See? Verse 46, it says, the earth will shake with the shout, Babylon has been taken, and his cry of despair will be heard around the world. See? And that time is coming. So anyway, let's get some more of this article here. All right, so we're reading this article here. Russia is turning increasingly hostile towards Israel as it picks sides in the Middle East. We'll read a little bit more here. So it says, Russia's initially sober response to the eruption of violence was seen to be a result of the Kremlin carefully weighing up its competing and conflicting interests in the Middle East. All right, all these talks to highlight the significance concerning the Middle East. All right, it's about to happen, man. Russia has always enjoyed constructive relations with Israel. It says, with Russia's President Vladimir Putin and Israel's Premier Benjamin Netanyahu enjoying a close relationship and vowing to deepen Israel-Russian ties. Let's see if there's any more. Let's jump down. Russia turns against Israel. Let's read this, and we'll grab some scriptures here and move on. It says, Russia turns against Israel. Russia's stance has gradually but dramatically shifted in recent weeks as it has become clear that the conflict is impacting its military and geopolitical interests. As Israel launched airstrikes on several military bases in Syria in October in response to a series of rocket attacks directed towards Israel, Russia's foreign ministry said the strike violated Syria's sovereignty and international law. Later in the month, Russia's foreign affairs minister, Sergei Lavrov, said the strikes were unacceptable. All right. And we'll leave it there. I'll post it, Lord willing. Okay. It's a long little article here, but you get it. All right. So the least of the flock is getting ready to draw them out, man. All right. This thing is getting ready to take off. All right. And as we've been going through these lessons, this is what we're waiting on. All right. This is what needs to happen, as the scriptures say, that Babylon must be uprooted in order for the good to be sown, pursuing the second Ezra, the 4th chapter. So these things have to happen. So anyway, all right, I want to play this. I want to play this video too. Right. And we'll just play a little bit of it. Because what we're doing here is we're seeing how the Lord is strategically putting this all together for the sake of prophecy. All right.
The U.S. is using a submarine to send a message to Iran to stay out of Israel's war against Hamas. U.S. Central Command posted this photo of a guided missile submarine apparently heading through the Suez Canal. That sub contains up to 154 extremely powerful Tomahawk cruise missiles on board. It is very rare for the Pentagon to reveal anything about the locations of its missile subs. Telling the world that this sub is now in the region is a clear message to Iran and its proxies to leave Israel alone. So let's bring in CNN Pentagon correspondent Oren Lieberman with more on this. So despite being forthcoming about these additional reinforcements, Oren, we continue to see an increase in the number of attacks against U.S. forces in the region. Most believe that they are at the hands of the Iranian proxies. So what does that say about the type of deterrence the U.S. is using right now?
Correct. So let's deal with both of those separately. First, there's the issue of the submarine, a guided missile submarine, an Ohio class, heading through the Suez Canal there. And that joins a list of U.S. forces, certainly naval forces, already in the region. 2 carrier strike groups, an amphibious ready group. That's more than 10,000 sailors right there alone, as well as that submarine. The Navy and the Pentagon are normally very secretive about submarine operations. So when you see them surface, it is very much a statement, as it is the case here, the Ohio class sub transiting through what appears to be the Suez Canal there, a message very much to Iran and its proxies, but they have not been silent.
Yeah, nuclear subs in the Suez Canal. All right. Let's just pull it out real quick. Suez Canal. Okay. Location. Let's just pull it up. All right. So the U.S. has a nuclear submarine in the Suez Canal. Let's see. All right. Right here. Okay. Right there out of the Mediterranean, right into the Suez Canal here. All right. Boom. So that region. All right. Super hot in that region right now, as we showed in this map. All right. Let me pull it back up. Okay. Super hot. Okay. Blow it up here. Yeah. All right. Super hot in this region, man. Okay. So anyway, let's finish it.
Either. The U.S. has attributed many of the attacks, and we've seen 38 since October 17th against U.S. forces in Iraq and Syria. Many of those attributed to or blamed on Iran and its proxies in the region. Most of those have been carried out by suicide drones, one-way attack drones, or rocket attacks. There have been about 20 minor injuries to U.S. forces. The vast majority of those attacks were intercepted by essentially defensive measures at the U.S. facilities and U.S. positions in Iraq and Syria. But the barrage has kept up at a fairly steady pace. These are not large barrages. These are almost sort of ones and twos when it comes to rockets and drones, but they are still significant because that message of deterrence clearly not getting through to the extent that it's supposed to, or at least to the extent that the Pentagon wants it to. So this is something the U.S. is keeping a very close eye on. Do these militias in Iraq and Syria try to get more involved? Do they up the pressure and up the attacks on U.S. forces? That is something the Pentagon is watching very closely, Bianna.
Yeah, we're getting word now that President Biden spoke with Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu this morning to discuss the latest developments in Israel and its war on Hamas. CNN Pentagon correspondent Oren Lieberman, thank you.
Man. All right. There was a comment in one of these videos, Salakia. Let me find it. Bear with me. I thought I had it pulled up. All right. Continue escalation in the Middle East. All right. I think this was it. Yeah. Right here. This person said something that stood out. So this person here, he said, Michael Bay, 2877, he says, hoping we're not being played by having troops deployed to different parts of the world, leaving us vulnerable internally. And this is what's happening now. Okay. It says, leadership is weak. border security is jeopardized, right? Remember, you had all these so-called immigrants coming to the land, all right? The FBI just put out a warning saying that some of the Hamas groups were already in the cities of America. You see, so the setup is already happening. It says radicals emerging in the home of the free. It says border security is jeopardized. All right, so pretty much, America is vulnerable right now. It's wide open to be taken, as the prophecy is going to get into, man. Now I'm going to read this scripture because, as we know, we're in the time of these scriptures here. All right, Joel chapter 3. Excuse me. This is the book of Joel chapter 3 and verse 1, and it reads, it says, "For behold, in those days, in that time, I will bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem." All right, because we're in the time of what? Of salvation. All right, destruction and salvation of the Lord's elect. Verse 2, it says, and I will also gather all the nations and bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, or Yahweh, which means Yahweh judges, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and part of my land. So this is the vengeance of the Lord's temple. This is why all of these things are leading, all right, to the war Armageddon. All right, World War III. He's gathering the troops in this particular region in the Middle East for the vengeance of his temple. You see, like it told us in Jeremiah 51 that Judah has not been forgotten, or Israel has not been forsaken of his God. Okay, Yahweh Hashem Shai essentially is doing this for us. All right, heavy stuff. Okay, so anyway, let's get this in Ezekiel 38. Okay, I finished out on that. Yep, so let's get this in Ezekiel 38. Okay, because as we're going into this lesson concerning the prophecies of Ezekiel 38, those times are now clearly, if you can see it. All right, so this is Ezekiel 38, prophecy about Gog and the future invasion of Israel, right? It says, Ezekiel 38 and 1, it says, "And the word of the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, came unto me, saying, Son of man, set thy face against Gog and the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against them," right? Because, we're not only are we prophesying against Babylon, all right, but we're prophesying against the land of Gog and Magog, the Russians, because Russia is going to fall too. All right, Yahweh Shema Shai through the Spirit is using, all right, Gog and Magog, the Medes, the Russians, all right, to completely destroy, Esau's enterprise, because Russia is not a part of the beast system. So he's raising up these Russians to do the bidding of him. Okay. And we're prophesying against these Russians too, because they actually think that they're going to be the world dominating power next after America goes down. All these nations are getting ready to be destroyed, man. You see that? So read it again. It says, "Son of man, set thy face against Gog, the land of Magog, the chief prince of Meshach and Tubal, and prophesy against them." So that's the region as we showed here earlier. Let's pull it up. Okay. All right. Those surrounding regions. All right. Eastern Europe, Russia. Okay. Georgia, Russia, Armenia. Where's the other one? You see? These particular regions here. All right. And it said, what did it say? It says, set thy face against the land, against Gog and the land of Magog, right? Because Gog and Magog is what's going to kick off World War III. Let me get that too. Let's go to Revelation. All right, Revelation 20, all right? Satan freed and doomed. And look at the precepts, Ezekiel 38 and Ezekiel 39, see? So this is Revelation 20 and 7, and it reads, it says, "And when the 1,000 years are expired, Satan shall be loosed out of his prison." Now, this is concerning Esau, all right? Because remember, these Edomites, they went down for a period of 1,000 years, all right, known as the Dark Ages, when Jake was ruling the planet, right? But then the Lord allowed him to be loosed out of his prison for a season, all right? And that's going back into the time of the Renaissance, man, all right? Around the mid 1300s, all right? From that point up to this time now, all right, Satan has been loosed for his little season. Okay, the point, verse 8, it says, "It shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth." And how did Esau do that? All right, he deceived the world by claiming to be the chosen people of the Lord. All right, all the witchcraft and sorcery that he's pushed, the wicked wines and philosophies, the idolatry that he's pushed. This is how he's deceived the nations, right? And it says here, Gog and Magog to gather them together, Gog and Magog to gather them together to battle, the number of whom is as the sand of the sea. You see that? So now we're at that point now where Yahweh Shema Shai is gathering Gog and Magog to that battle, to that final battle, World War III. All right, which the Lord is going to use the Russians to take out this beast system. All right, America, NATO, and the EU. All right, very heavy times, man. So let's go back to Ezekiel 38. All right, this is Ezekiel chapter 38 and verse 3. It says, "And say, thus saith the Lord power, Yahweh Shema Shai, behold, I am against thee, O Gog, the chief prince of Meshech and Tubal. And I will turn thee back and put hooks into thy jaws, and will bring thee forth all thy army and horses and horsemen, all of them clothed with all sorts of armor, even a great company with bucklers and shields, all of them handling swords," right? Because basically Yahweh Shema Shai has transformed Russia into a powerful force. All right. Russia's going back. So pretty much Russia has the power. All right. They have the nuclear capability. They have the weaponry. Their missiles are faster. All right. Their defense is stronger. You know, all the things that they've been pretty much boasting about for the past, 12 years now. All right. And how they had better missiles, and, America was behind, all these different things that we've been pretty much bringing out over the years. All right. So pretty much America has been transformed into a powerhouse, man, which is going to be used to destroy Babylon and Israel. Verse 5, it says, "Persia, Ethiopia, and Libya with them, all of them with shield and helmet." All right. Persia, Iran, Ethiopia, Libya. All right. All of them with shield and helmet. All right. So all these nations, let me pull that. Where's that map at? Yep. Put Libya, Cush, Ethiopia, Persia, Iran. You see? All these nations. And that's why all of these particular nations have made alliances with Russia. Okay? It says here, reading on, "Gomer and all his bands, the house of Togarmah and of the north quarters, and all his bands, and many people with thee." It says, verse 7, be thou prepared and prepare thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee. Be thou a guard unto them." All right. So Russia basically is going to be a guard unto these, particular nations that they have made alliances with. All right. Which these nations, as we read earlier in that Jeremiah, all right, the Lord is raising up those many kings. Right. Let's go back to that. Where did it say that at? What verse was that? It was Jeremiah 51 and Jeremiah 50 and 41. It says, "Behold, the people shall come from the north, and a great nation, and many kings shall be raised up from the coast of the earth." So this is happening, man. This is happening right now. All right. The North, Russia. Okay. And a matter of fact, let me get that. Jeremiah 51, the Lord said that those spoilers were going to come from the north. Let me get that too. This is Jeremiah 51 and verse 48. It says, "Then the heaven, then the heaven and the earth and all that is therein shall sing for Babylon. For the spoilers shall come unto her from the north, saith the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai." Yeah, Russia, those missiles, those ICBM nuclear missiles, those are the spoilers. It says, "As Babylon has caused the slain of Israel to fall, so at Babylon shall fall the slain of all the earth." You see that? So as Babylon has caused Israel, the Lord's people, to be slain and to fall, so at Babylon shall fall the slain of all the earth. You see? All right. This is truly the vengeance, okay, of the Lord's temple, as it told us as Isaiah 34. Okay. The Lord didn't forget us. All right. Remember, the scripture said that the Lord requires that which is past. Right. Let me read that real quick. Isaiah 34:6. The sword of the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, is filled with blood. It is made fat with fatness, and with the blood of lambs and goats, and with the fat of the kidneys of rams. For the Lord, Yahweh Shema Shai, have a sacrifice in Basra. All right. Basra is the capital of Edom, and a great slaughter in the land of Idumea, which would be Babylon, America. And the unicorns, so he has a great sacrifice that's coming, all right, in the midst of America. It says, and the unicorn shall come down with them, and the bullocks with bulls, and their land shall be soaked with blood, and their dust made fat with fatness. The point, verse 8. For it is the day of the Lord Yahweh Shema Shai's vengeance, in the year of recompenses for the controversy of Zion. You see that? All right, all these scriptures that we're reading here, all right, that the Lord is basically avenging his people. You know, this is why all of this controversy that's going on, that's surrounding the Middle East, is happening. You see? So let's go back real quick to that. Did I finish that Jeremiah? Salakia. Yeah, I finished that out. So yeah, let's go back to where we at, Ezekiel 38. So back in Ezekiel 38, verse 8, and it reads, I'll read 7 again. It says, be thou prepared to prepare thyself, thou and all thy company that are assembled unto thee, and be thou a guard unto them. Verse 8, it says, and after many days thou shalt be visited. In the latter years thou shalt come into the land that is brought back from the sword, all right, and is gathered out of many people against the mountains of Israel, which have been always waste, going all the way back to 70 AD. All right, when we were pretty much, scattered and expelled from the land. It says, but is brought forth out of the nations, and they shall dwell safely, all of them. Verse 9, it says, thou shalt ascend and come like a storm, thou shalt be like a cloud to cover the land. Okay, and all thy bands and many people with thee, because as we're seeing right now, as this thing is playing out, eventually, all right, the land of Israel is going to be invaded. Okay. Russia, Iran, that place, the land of Israel is going to get touched, man. You see? It says, verse 10, it says, thus saith the Lord power, Yahweh Shema Shai, it shall also come to pass that at the same time shall things come into thy mind, and thou shalt think an evil thought. And that evil thought is what? Sending ICBM nuclear missiles on America, Babylon. All right. And also in Israel. Okay. This is why Russia is becoming hostile. It's turning its back. No more diplomatic relations between the Russians and Israel right now. It's nothing but war. All right. Troops. Okay. Submarines, ships. Everything is being shipped over there into that region right now. Okay. It says, verse 11, it says, and thou shalt say, I will go up to the land of unwalled villages. That's Babylon, man. All right. America. Okay. No protection. You see? And I will go up to the land of unwalled villages, and I will go to them that are at rest, that dwell safely, all of them dwelling without walls, having neither bars nor gates. Yeah, this place is vulnerable. As we read that comment, that's what made me think about that comment from that video. I was going to play it, but we played those 2 videos. That was enough. All right. But like he says, hoping we're not being played by having troops deployed to different parts of the world, leaving us vulnerable internally. Yes, this is happening. Okay. Leadership is weak. Border security is jeopardized. Radicals emerging in the home of the free. Border security is jeopardized. Right. So this place is being set up to be taken, man. All right. So it was spiritual that this person here said this. Right. Verse 12, it says, to take a spoil and to take a prey, to turn thy head upon the desolate places that are now inhabited, and upon the people that are gathered out of the nations, which have gotten cattle and goods that dwell in the midst of the land. So people are completely comfortable right now, man. They don't have a clue that this place, pursuant to Isaiah 47, all right, like it said that Babylon was no longer going to be regarded as tender and delicate. All right, this place is going to see a major war. It's going to get invaded. You see what I'm saying? Why everybody's in their illusion of security. All right, the unwalled villages dwelling without walls, having neither bars nor gates, wide open, man. Right? It says, I'm gonna read a little bit more. It says Sheba and Dedan and the merchants of Tarshish with all young lions thereof shall say unto thee, Art thou come to take a spoil? Hast thou gathered thy company to take a prey, to carry away silver and gold, to take away cattle and goods, to take a great spoil? Therefore, son of man, prophesy and say unto God, thus saith the Lord, power Yahweh Bashim Shai. And that day when my people of Israel dwell safely, shall thou not know it? It says, and thou shalt come from thy place out of the north parts, thou and many people with thee, all of them riding upon horses, a great company in a mighty army. Yeah, the Russians, man, showing you that when it talked about the north, how those spoilers were going to come from the north, is speaking about Russia, man. All right, many people with thee, a great company and a mighty army, man, as we're seeing being raised up. Verse 16, it says, and thou shalt come up against my people of Israel as a cloud to cover the land, and it should be in the latter days when I will bring thee against my land. Whoo, in the latter days where he was going to bring them against the land. Okay, Russia is becoming hostile with the land of Israel right now. Okay, you just heard in the news clip about how Iran was the problem. Remember, Iran is allies with Russia. The least of the flock shall draw them out. This is happening, man. See? And thou shalt come up against my people of Israel as a cloud to cover the land, and it shall be in the latter days when I will bring thee against my land, that the heathen may know me when I shall be sanctified in thee, O Gog, before their eyes. So yeah, so the Lord is using pretty much, Gog and Magog to execute his will, man. Right? It's all about to go down, man. You see? Beautiful times, man. Prophecy. See if there's any more I want to get. All right. So yeah, that's pretty much the point there, man. So this is why, all the highlighting here is, on the Middle East, the significance, all eyes on the Middle East, as the elder apostles said. Okay. So what's happening? Hey, Brakatha Yahweh Shema Shai, man. So I'll leave it like that. Pray that this lesson was edifying. I'm going to close out by giving all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. And double salutations to all you Akim out there laboring in the house of David, the elect, that's pushing his word with all truth, righteousness, and sincerity. Shalom to you, brothers, and shalom to the elect. Shalom. Shalom.